The sky hung heavy over the cosmic ocean, reflecting the hollow defeat of the Devas. Their strength had evaporated, leaving the three worlds in the grip of the demons. They gathered at the shoreline, staring into the dark, churning depths of the Kshirasagara where the nectar of immortality remained hidden. Indra stepped forward and bowed to Vishnu, his silence a plea for salvation. Vishnu did not offer a word. He walked to the water's edge and waded in. The ocean rippled, surging against his legs as he moved deeper. His physical form began to distort, limbs folding inward, skin thickening into a dense, impenetrable surface. The water churned violently as his mass expanded, rising from the depths until a mountain-sized shell broke the surface. Vishnu had become Kurma. The giant tortoise settled onto the seabed, his weight shifting to displace the silt. He braced his limbs against the ocean floor, locking his position. A massive, steady foundation now existed where there had only been chaos. The Devas looked on as the water calmed, the giant shell providing a singular, immovable point of hope amidst the vast, dark expanse. The Devas and Asuras moved as one, dragging the massive peak of Mount Mandara toward the shore. The ground groaned under the weight of the mountain as they hauled it onto the water. With synchronized effort, they lowered the base of the mountain onto the center of the giant shell. Kurma remained motionless, his limbs anchored deep into the shifting seabed to support the sudden, crushing load. Then, the serpent Vasuki was brought forward. They coiled the serpent around the mountain, using its body as the rope that would force the peak to spin. The tension tightened. The air grew thin and static-charged as both sides gripped the serpent. A signal was given. The pulling began. At first, the mountain resisted, grinding against the shell with a low, bone-shaking vibration. Then, it caught momentum. The mountain began to rotate, spinning faster with every heave of the groups. The ocean roared, throwing white spray hundreds of feet into the air. Friction between the base and the shell ignited, sending golden sparks cascading into the dark sky like falling stars. The churning had truly begun, and the deep waters were alive with the force of the rotation. The rotation reached a frantic pace. The ocean whipped into a frenzy, but the balance was failing. The mountain shuddered. A deep, grinding sound echoed from the base as the peak began to tilt toward the dark waves. The Asuras sensed the shift and pulled harder, their desperate strength only worsening the instability. The mountain groaned, its base sliding off the edge of the shell. A massive spray of water erupted as the weight began to slip into the abyss. The sea churned violently, threatening to swallow the entire project. Kurma reacted instantly. He surged upward, his massive shell rising with the force of a tectonic plate. He caught the base of the mountain, driving it back toward the center with a single, immense heave. The mountain slammed back into position, the impact sending tremors through the seabed. Kurma braced his weight, his limbs digging deeper into the silt to secure the foundation. He held firm, locking the peak in place against the frantic tug-of-war above. The spinning smoothed out, the dangerous tilt corrected by his unwavering resolve. The churning continued, now steady and rhythmic, as the mountain remained pinned to the center of his back. The rhythm of the churn deepened, turning the water into a roiling vortex. Then, the ocean rebelled. A thick, suffocating wave of black poison erupted from the depths, spreading across the surface and blotting out the stars. The sky turned an ink-stained void, and the air grew heavy with the scent of decay. The teams faltered, but the mountain did not stop. Kurma held his position, his shell acting as the only anchor against the encroaching toxicity. As the poison finally dissipated, the true contents of the deep began to surface. One by one, divine treasures broke the water, rising like ghosts into the moonlight. Then, the water parted for a final time. A figure emerged, holding a golden pot aloft. The Amrita. The sight of the vessel shattered the fragile piece on the surface. The demons lunged, their hands clawing at the air, desperate to seize the nectar before it could reach the Devas. The mountain groaned under the sudden, erratic force of their scramble. Kurma braced his limbs against the seabed, his massive frame absorbing the chaotic energy. He remained a statue of stone and resolve, locking the mountain in place while the frenzy unfolded around him. The nectar was within reach, and he would not let the foundation fail. The struggle ended as quickly as it had begun. The Devas claimed the golden vessel, drawing the nectar away from the reach of the demons. With the prize secured, the mountain halted its spin. The massive peak stopped grinding against the base, and the friction-borne sparks died out in the cooling spray. The ocean grew still. The violent waves that had battered the surface for hours flattened into a mirror, reflecting the now clear sky. Deep beneath the silt, the weight shifted. The foundation settled. The giant tortoise pushed away from the seabed, his limbs retracting as he rose through the cooling water. As he broke the surface, the massive shell dissolved, the heavy layers of stone and scale fading into the light. Vishnu stood upon the water, his form shifting back to his original state. He looked toward the shore, where the devas gathered. He did not speak. There was no need for words. The cosmic imbalance had been corrected. He turned away, stepping toward the horizon where the sun began to bleed into the clouds. He walked until he became a speck against the light, then vanished entirely. The ocean remained quiet, a vast, calm expanse, left to the silence of a world restored to its proper order.